Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome back to the Light and Shadow podcast. I'm Grey, Reiki Master, Seer, Soul Alchemist, and your guide in this sacred space where we walk through the dark to remember the light. Before we begin, a gentle but important reminder. This podcast is a spiritual companion and energetic transmission. It is not a substitute for therapy, mental health treatment, or medical care. And if this episode stirs something within you and you feel called to go deeper, there are many ways to journey alongside me at the Grey Ethereus Academy, my private mystery school where we work with shadow alchemy, energetic mastery, and soul remembrance. The Light and Shadow Sanctuary, a weekly soul support space where you are witnessed, guided, and held as you embody your own transformation. And one-on-one intuitive coaching and Reiki-infused sessions for those ready for highly personalized guidance and energetic recalibration. And for daily transmissions, rituals, and heart-centered reminders, you can find me on TikTok at Grey Ethereus. The link is in the description box below. Today, we enter a conversation that sits at the very center of spiritual embodiment. Emotional intelligence. Not a buzzword, but a sacred art. This is the bridge between raw feeling and higher wisdom. It is not about controlling emotions in the sense of suppression or perfection. It is about listening, understanding, and alchemizing them into clarity, compassion, and conscious action. Because here's the truth. You are not here to numb what you feel. You are here to become fluent in the language of your emotions, to let them inform you, not rule you. So, take a slow breath with me. Place your hand over your heart and feel the quiet rhythm of life pulsing beneath your palm. This is where we begin, the meeting point of feeling and wisdom. Emotional intelligence is often misunderstood. It's not about shutting down your feelings or pretending to be calm when a storm is roaring inside. It is not about being endlessly agreeable, endlessly zen, or unbothered by life. True emotional intelligence is not the absence of emotion. It is mastery of relationship with emotion. It is a sacred ability to recognize what you are feeling in real time. Name those feelings with honesty and without shame. Understand the wisdom and messages those emotions carry, and choose a response that honors both your heart and your highest truth. In other words, emotional intelligence is not about perfection. It is about presence. It is the bridge between feeling and wisdom. It allows you to walk through intense emotions like anger, grief, excitement, longing, without being hijacked by them. It transforms emotions from unpredictable waves that toss you around into currents that guide you home. Every feeling you have is a messenger. Anger might be showing you where a boundary has been crossed. Grief might be revealing the depth of your love and the space that love still longs to fill. Even jealousy can be a compass, pointing toward desires you have silenced. When you develop emotional intelligence, you learn to ask, what is this feeling here to teach me? What truth is it asking me to face? And what need is it asking me to honor? Instead of running from emotions or letting them run you, you enter dialogue with them. Without this inner fluency, emotions can become unconscious puppeteers, triggering fights, impulsive choices, or withdrawal before you even realize what's happening. With emotional intelligence, you create space between feeling and action. You move from reaction to response. That small pause, one breath, one heartbeat, is where transformation lives. It's where you can say, I feel anger rising, and I choose to speak my boundary calmly. I feel fear in my chest, and I choose to stay present instead of running. This isn't suppression, it is sovereignty. It's the practice of letting your emotions inform you without letting them define you. Think of emotional intelligence as a living bridge inside you, one side rooted in deep, authentic feeling, the other anchored in higher wisdom and conscious action. Every time you notice a feeling, name it and honor its message with choice. You strengthen that bridge. You build a nervous system and a spirit can hold the full spectrum of human experience without drowning in it. This is the sacred art of emotional intelligence. It is not cold control. It is warm, grounded mastery. Now that we have uncovered what emotional intelligence really means, let's ground it in something practical and alive. Think of emotional intelligence as a temple held up by 4 pillars. Each pillar supports your ability to feel fully and act wisely. When one pillar is weak, the whole structure wobbles. But when all four stand strong, you carry an unshakable inner stability, able to meet life's storms without collapsing. Let's walk through them one by one. Self-awareness is the first and most essential pillar. It's the ability to notice what you feel while you are feeling it, and to name it without judgment. Instead of saying, "I'm fine," when you're not, you practice radical honesty. I feel anger rising like heat in my chest. I feel grief like a weight in my stomach. I feel joy bubbling in my heart. This simple act of naming is powerful. A feeling observed is already a feeling transformed. It moves from unconscious chaos to conscious choice. Here are some practical practices. Pause 3 times a day to ask, what am I feeling right now? Breathe it into words, whether if it's aloud or in a journal. And notice where it lives in your body. This pillar teaches you that emotions are guests to welcome, not invaders to fear. Once you can name a feeling, the next step is self-regulation. The art of holding space between emotions and actions. It's the difference between firing off the angry text and pausing to breathe, then speaking from grounded truth. Self-regulation doesn't mean suppressing your feelings, it means creating choice in the space between trigger and behavior. Here are some tools for regulation. 1. Conscious breathing. 4 count inhale and then 6 count exhale. 2. Grounding through touch, hand on heart or feet on earth or touching even a tree. 3. Cutouts to cool the nervous system before engaging. This pillar transforms intense emotions into fuel for clarity rather than fire for conflict. The third pillar is empathy, the capacity to sense, feel, and understand the emotions of others without losing yourself. Empathy allows you to connect and to build relationships of depth, but true empathy is balanced. It's feeling with someone, not drowning for them. It asks you to listen deeply without fixing, to care without carrying. Here's some practice. When someone shares their pain, pause before offering advice. Reflect what you hear and say like, "It sounds like you feel," fill in the blank. Hold their experience as valid without making it yours to solve. Empathy makes your compassion spacious and your love wise. And the final pillar is conscious communication, the ability to express your emotions and needs with clarity, courage, and respect. It means speaking your boundaries without blame, asking for what you need without apology, and sharing joy without shrinking. Instead of, "You always make me angry," you learn to say, "I feel hurt when plans change suddenly. I need clearer communication." This transforms conversations from battles into bridges. It invites understanding instead of defensiveness. Together, these 4 pillars, self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, and conscious communication, form the living bridge between feeling and wisdom. They allow you to feel everything deeply, hold everything gently, and respond to everything consciously. Strengthen these pillars, and you don't just manage emotions, you alchemize them into guidance and growth. Many people treat emotional intelligence like a social skill, something to help them communicate better at work or keep relationships smooth. But here's a deeper truth. Emotional intelligence is a spiritual mastery in action. It is the bridge between your inner world and your higher self. It is how the soul speaks through the language of feelings. Emotions are messengers of the soul. Every emotion is a messenger. Anger signals a boundary crossed. Grief honors what mattered. Joy confirms alignment. Fear warns of real or imagined danger. When you meet these messengers with presence, you receive their wisdom before they harden into resentment, anxiety, or numbness. This is emotional intelligence at its highest level, listening to your own soul through feeling. Without emotional intelligence, we become ruled by old survival codes, reacting from wounds rather than responding from wisdom. And when you develop the 4 pillars, awareness, regulation, empathy, conscious communication, emotions become guidance, not governors. You stop living on autopilot You stop recycling the same arguments, relationships, and outcomes. Instead, you alchemize every feeling into choice, clarity, and freedom. This is spiritual sovereignty in practice. The same sovereignty you cultivated when you reclaim the I and the frequency of receiving. It is the next level of self-mastery. Finally, emotional intelligence doesn't isolate you. It deepens connection. When you understand and express your emotions, you create relational safety. You can meet others with empathy without losing yourself, which is the heart of spiritual love and conscious community. It is not about detachment at all. It is about embodied presence, the kind of presence that allows intimacy without enmeshment, compassion without burnout. Emotional intelligence, then, is not just about feeling better. It is a daily embodied form of enlightenment, where every sensation, every surge of anger or grief or joy becomes a doorway back to the soul. Emotional intelligence isn't built through theory. It's strengthened through daily practice. It is a muscle that grows each time you meet a feeling with presence instead of panic, each time you pause before reacting, and each time you speak from awareness instead of defense. Here are simple but powerful practices to help you integrate feeling and wisdom until it becomes your natural way of being. Number 1. When an emotion surges, like anger, grief, or excitement, take a conscious pause. Breathe in for a slow count of 4, exhale for 6. This tiny act sends a message to your nervous system: we are safe to feel. In that pause, name the emotion out loud or silently. For example, I feel anger. I feel sadness. I feel joy. Naming creates space. It shifts you from being the emotion to holding it. This simple practice is the foundation of emotional self-regulation. 2. Each evening, give your emotions a page to speak. Ask, what did I feel today? Where did I react instead of respond? And what wisdom was this feeling offering me? Write without censoring. Let rage, grief, jealousy, or joy spill freely. Then, end with gratitude for what each emotion revealed. This transforms raw feeling into insight. Number 3. Deep, rhythmic breathwork or gentle somatic shaking helps emotion leave the body. Unfelt feelings don't just vanish. They store as tension and can resurface as anxiety or fatigue. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Inhale deeply. Exhale with a sound. Let your body guide you. Breath clears the emotional residue and reconnects mind, body, and spirit. Number 4. Practice compassionate listening without merging with someone else's pain. Before a deep conversation, silently affirm, I witness with love and I stay rooted in my own center. This strengthens both empathy and self-protection, allowing you to be present without depletion. Number 5. 3 times a day, morning, midday, and night, pause and ask, what am I feeling in my body? What is the loudest emotion right now? And what does it need? This quick scan trains emotional awareness and keeps you connected to your internal guidance system. And finally, close each day by naming who you choose to be, beyond the feeling of the moment. I am steady. I am open to wisdom. I am a safe home for my emotions. And remember, whatever follows I am becomes a blueprint for your reality. Practice consistently. These tools don't just help you manage emotions, they teach you to live as an alchemist, turning every feeling into clarity, compassion, and grounded action. To bring all of these practices to life, let me share the story of a client who transformed the way she related to her emotions, turning constant reactivity into calm self-leadership. She had a pattern which is living on an emotional roller coaster. When she first came to me, she described her days as a series of explosions. She loved deeply and worked hard, but the smallest trigger, a text left unanswered, a disagreement at work, a casual comment from her partner, could send her into hours of spiraling worry or anger. She'd replay conversations for days, writing mental scripts of what she should have said. She often apologized just to keep the peace even when she wasn't at fault. Her body carried the proof: jaw tension, sleepless nights, and a nervous system always on alert. She felt like her emotions owned her and she was exhausted. In our work together, the first shift wasn't to suppress anything, it was to slow down and name. Instead of "I am a mess," she practiced saying "I feel anger" or "I feel fear." That small language change separated her identity from the experience. It gave her a fraction of a second to breathe, a micropause where choice could live. For the first time, she realized feelings are visitors, not dictators. From there, we built a daily rhythm. Micropauses when she felt triggered, breathwork and evening shadow journaling where she wrote every thought she was too tired to carry in her head. She also practiced empathy with boundaries. Before a difficult meeting or phone call, she would affirm, "I witness with love," and remain rooted in my own center. This simple ritual meant she could feel others' emotions without drowning in them. Within a few months, the change was undeniable. The same triggers were still present, but she no longer lost herself to them. She found herself pausing mid-sentence, choosing her words instead of regretting them. She began saying no without panic and yes with her whole heart. Even her partner noticed a different quality in their conversations: less defensiveness, more clarity, deeper compassion. What surprised her most was not just the external peace, it was the internal spaciousness. She no longer feared feeling. She trusted that every emotion, from anger to awe, carried a message, and that she had the wisdom to interpret and integrate it. Her life didn't become emotion-free, it became emotionally free. This is the quiet, extraordinary power of emotional intelligence. It doesn't erase the human experience, it teaches you to navigate it as the author of your story, with compassion for yourself and clarity in your choices. Beautiful soul, take a deep, nourishing breath. Feel the movement of your own inner weather. Notice how much you have traveled in this episode, from understanding what emotions truly are, to practicing how to pause, listen, and respond with wisdom. Emotional intelligence isn't about never feeling big emotions. It's about creating space between the feeling and the action, so that your choices arise from clarity, not chaos. Before we close, here's a simple integration to carry into the coming days. In the evening, do this small check-in. Place a hand on your heart. Ask, what did I feel today that I didn't fully name? Write one sentence how you felt and honor it without judgment. And in the morning, before reaching to your phone, breathe and speak. I give myself permission to feel fully and respond wisely today. These small, consistent acts retrain your nervous system and give emotions a sacred place to move and teach without hijacking your day. Let's anchor these affirmations together and let these words become a daily mantra, or whisper them whenever emotions rise. I am safe to feel and free to choose. Every feeling is a messenger. I welcome its wisdom. My response, not the trigger, defines my reality. Say them aloud. Feel each statement reclaims authority over your inner world. If this transmission resonated, remember this podcast is a sacred companion, not a substitute for therapy. When you're ready for more, you will find deeper ways to journey further with me at the Grey Ethereus Academy, a private mystery school for shadow alchemy and energetic mastery, a one-on-one intuitive coaching, personalized guidance for emotional regulation and spiritual growth, and the Light and Shadow Sanctuary, our private weekly community for life support and collective healing, and all links are in the description box below. And for daily micro teachings and ritual reminders, join me on TikTok at Grey Ethereus. And next, on the Light and Shadow podcast, we journey into a truth that many quietly carry: the shadow of suppression, the hidden cause of emotional suppression, and how buried feelings manifest as illness, anxiety, or disconnection. Because ignoring what we feel doesn't protect us, it simply delays the healing. And next time, we'll meet the parts of you that have been waiting patiently and powerfully to be felt at last. Now, close your eyes, breathe into the quiet space you have cultivated today, and remember, you are not at the mercy of every feeling. You are the bridge between sensation and wisdom, and you are the author of the reality that follows the words I am. Until then, walk with a calm, knowing that your emotions are sacred teachers and you are their wise interpreter. And remember, the magic is already within you. You are more powerful than you know. Until next time.